Okay, we're now looking at the frame that has been fully assembled. The frame is assembled when all four corners have been fastened the way we showed you in the previous phase, in part 1. All the end dams are in, all the fasteners are caulked, all the end dams are caulked, every seam is caulked, and there's absolutely no possibility of any water coming in through the joints. Again, when you look at any of these frames, where you see the end dams on the bottom of the sill, that's obviously at the bottom, and that's the outside, that's the exterior. So now, once the frame is assembled, we're going to show you how it's installed into the opening. The first thing is we supply what we call a sill channel. It's this shape here. It comes the length of the width of the frame. And you notice it has a bulb and it has a leg that returns in. The leg returns to the interior like the shop drawings show. This bulb goes into the channel of the frame this way. So the first thing has to be done is the sill channel has to be installed into the floor of the opening. And to do that, it has to go right on the floor. Now typically what we recommend is a flash panning detail, which we are not supplying. We understand the general contractor is responsible for the sill panning detail. We do recommend that the sill pan be level and flat, be of a good grade of aluminum, is level and plumb, and is on the substrate first. If this goes over it, this has to be drilled with bolts into the floor substrate. Anytime you drill a hole, you have to fill the hole with sealant, and then you have to apply the bolt that you're going to use to secure the sill channel to the floor, and then fill the bolt with sealant, and also make sure that there is sealant at the underside of the sill channel between that and the flashing, so that no water can penetrate through any of the bolts that are being drilled. The integrity of the flashing detail on the openings are the responsibility of the general contractor or the subcontractor. They are not the responsibility of Arcadia, nor are they being supplied by Arcadia. However, the sill panning system that is being supplied by the general contractor must be applied, must be properly sealed at all joints and corners with upswings and undams where necessary, so that no water breaches the system. Once this sill channel is installed into the opening and secured and properly caulked and leveled and what have you, we're ready to start mounting the frame into the opening. We then look at the other piece that is called the head C channel, and that gets placed into the cavity of the head of the frame as such. We're going to need somebody to come help us. And it just goes in loose. And if you notice, there are pre-drilled holes on the C channel. And the way this works is that when the unit is mounted, we're going to take fasteners, run through the access holes of the head of the frame and into this head C channel, and the head C channel will be connected to the opening, and it will basically allow the unit to ride freely, but it will block the unit from moving forward or backwards this way, but it will allow for up and down expansion. That's what secures the unit into the opening. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to first lift the unit. First we put this in there, and then we're going to lift the unit up and pretend we're going to put it into the opening. So the first thing we do, we have 2 men go, and this assumes that this sill channel is already bolted. We make sure that the bottom cavity of the sill goes over the bolt of the C channel. Okay, bring it up so that it's resting right in there like that. And then what happens is, when this is shimmed, level and plumb, with the head C channel already on top of the head, you start applying fasteners through the access holes into the holes of the C channel of the head, and the head C channel gets secured to the opening, and it will then lock the unit so it doesn't move front and back. Once the unit is shimmed and level and plumb and square and the sill is flat and everything else, apply shims at the ends of the jamb, and then apply structural sealant all the way around so the unit is securely secured to the opening. So what keeps the unit in place is that at the bottom, the sill is engaged on the bulb of the sill channel, and the head is engaged in the seat channel of the head seat channel, which is secured to the opening, so it cannot move front and back. And then with shims and caulking on the sides, the jambs are properly secured to the opening. We typically do not drill holes in the vertical jambs, and we don't drill holes anywhere on the sill or anywhere else. So the unit is totally secured and what have you. Once the unit is actually secure in the opening and it has to be verified level, square, and plumb, we're ready now to glaze the unit and all that. The very important part, if you look at the shop drawings, when the unit is in the opening, it must be caulked at the front. Keep it straight. Like the drawing showing, must be caulked with backer rod and caulk right in front of the weep holes so that water doesn't go through the unit. So the weep holes are typically right here at the edge, and you can see them here. They're at the bottom over there. If you look at the drawing, I'm going to put backer rod back there and caulk all the way through across the sill right in front of the weep holes. So then when water weeps in here, it comes right out of here, does not go backwards into the house or into the interior. This is the exterior, this is the interior. Okay? And this assumes that the unit is properly installed. Now, we want to glaze the unit. To glaze the unit, it's very simple. It's like a storefront system. We first have to put in a setting chair, which is an aluminum
tube per section.
Which is an aluminum tube. Put that in first. Also, hold it. Let's look at the tube. If you notice, are you holding it? The tube it's a C-channel tube that's cut. It's not actually a tube, it's a C-section, and it's offset so that it rides on the higher part of the sill. So it's level. It goes in.
I'm going to put in. You're going to glue them.
So it goes in this way. Now we're going to put those into the sill before we ship the unit, so they'll already be in the sill. And then there's a setting block that goes right over it, and they're going to be on the sill when we ship the sills, and there'll be 2 for each section. So you will not have to do what we just did, because obviously there'll be an end dam here. These will already be in the sill, so you don't have to worry about it. Then what you're going to have to do is you're going to take this gasket that we supply. They're both the same?
Yeah.
Okay, you look at this gasket, and you're going to insert it
on the outside.
On the outside part of the sill extrusion. Actually, all the way around, right? And then we're going to get a piece of glass, and for this illustration we're using a piece of insulated panel for illustration. It goes against the outside gasket sitting on the setting chair, and then on the interior we apply the other gasket, like a wedge gasket, by pressure, right? So we have to wet it, making sure it's warm and soft.
This side.
And hold it. Let's look at the edge contour for a second. This side here, the short side that comes out, points to the interior, and it gets this pushed in. Best thing is to start from the middle and work your way to the edges, and make sure you have a little extra on the corners so you don't have any rubber pulling back. And then this is going to happen all the way around. We also have side gaskets for the. No, don't we have rubber?
Actually, when we put glass.